Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we're the Castros.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
Senator Bongo is calling on Filipinos to pray for former President Rodrigo Duterte amid a reported health scare at The Hague.
Typhoon Oppo has left widespread damage in Masbate and other provinces in Visayas and southern Luzon.
The Justice Department is apparently not amused by Sara Diskaya's remarks and finger heart gesture.
Italy defended its crown in the FIVB Volleyball Men's World Championship after defeating Bulgaria in 4 sets.
First in the news, Typhoon Oppo has left widespread damage in several provinces in Visayas and southern Luzon. Here's the report.
Aerial footage shows houses flattened near coastal areas in Masbate, while roads remain littered with debris and toppled power lines. Residents have begun clearing streets as recovery work slowly resumes.
Medyo maaraw na, hindi na maulan, nakakapagtrabaho tayo ng maayos. Pag may dala ho kaming mga equipment, mapapadali ho. Sa ngayon po, yung mga ginagawa namin ay itak muna sa mga maliliit lang mga sanga.
Social Welfare Secretary Rex Gatchalian met with Governor Richard Co to discuss relief and recovery efforts. The DSWD has distributed food packs to over 15,000 affected families with financial assistance to follow.
Damage dito sa Masbate is quite staggering. As before pa tumama ang bagyo, meron naman tayong pre-positioned na family food packs dito. Pinag-usapan na rin namin yung next stage, yung financial assistance. The moment makuha ko yung mga listahan mula sa ating mga local chief executives, ipoprocess na rin natin yon.
According to the Masbate LGU, 7 people have died, while some 21,000 families or more than 60,000 individuals have been affected. Typhoon Oppo has also left widespread damage in other provinces in Visayas and southern Luzon. In Calbayog City, Samar, one of the first areas hit on Friday, large trees were uprooted, rooftops torn apart, and structures heavily damaged. On Sibuyan Island in Romblon, fallen trees block highways after strong winds and heavy rain swept through. Clearing operations are also underway on nearby Tablas Island. In Occidental Mindoro, damaged power lines continue to disrupt electricity, while strong winds flattened rice fields in San Jose. In Magsaysay Town, a bridge was nearly washed out by floodwaters and is now closed to heavy vehicles. Meanwhile, in Leyte, flash floods forced the closure of several roads as boulders tumbled down from the mountains. Clearing operations also took place in Kabugkayan, Biliran, while a flood control project in Matagob, Leyte was further destroyed by the storm. The NDRRMC estimates infrastructure damage from typhoons Mirasol, Nando, and Opong combined with the southwest monsoon at over 822 million pesos. For News 5, Ian Suyu, we are One News.
Now, fair weather is expected across most parts of the country today. No tropical cyclone or low-pressure area is present within the Philippine area of responsibility. However, isolated rain showers are possible in Metro Manila and elsewhere brought by easterlies.
Ayun,
Grabe
sabi ng Pag-asa, at least 9 more storms this year. Although mas mahina na, most in the Visayas area, ang magiging siste dito, majority of them will make landfall daw.
Yes.
Pero mas mahina, pero mas mataas ang chances all the time na may landfall.
Anong papasama din kasi, of course, yung yung habagat eh. Kaya sometimes, iba yung mga bagyo na dumadaan sa atin tumatagal because of habagat also.
Actually, yung habagat, if you remember, it's the one that brought in that week-long worth of rains, di ba? Na I think it was like a Monday to a Sunday, non-stop raining. Tapos sunod-sunod ang baha, which triggered the flood control project anomaly speech ni PBBM.
And looking at the reports nga dun sa ginawa ng damage nitong Typhoon Opong na to, 26 death toll ang na itatala ngayon. And hindi pa nga natin nakakausap ang ibang mga affected areas dyan. But of course, last week, we were able to talk to Governor R.V. Evardone ng Eastern Samar, which is one of the places that got hit by the Typhoon Opong. And we also realized that, during that interview na maraming mga flood control projects doon na anomalous, sinasabi nga ni Governor. And of course, We also seen more than 800,000 families have been affected by this. So that's 200,000 individuals displaced. Tapos 33 people ang injured and 14 ang nawawala. So ngayon, itong aftermath na to, syempre ongoing pa rin yung number one, clearing operations sa mga daanan na dapat daanan ngayon na hindi madaanan dahil nga sa mga nagbagsakan ng mga poste, yung mga iba pang mga debris na nandoon. Of course, yung ibang mga families na nasa evacuation centers are still there. Hindi pa sila, yung iba kasi I remember sabi na hindi pa pinapauwi hanggat sure na sila na okay na yung panahon at malinis na nga yung kalsada na kanilang uuwian din, nadadaanan.
Ngayon sa mga nagsasabi parang yung nagagalit sa Pag-asa na wala naman nangyari. Hindi. Yung lumihis sa Metro Manila, hindi ibig sabihin mali ang binanggit ng Pag-asa dahil look at the death toll, it's 26.
Yeah.
Yung Masbate was battered badly, no? Hindi porket hindi natin nararamdaman sa Metro Manila, hindi naka-apekto sa Pilipinas ito.
Exactly.
We are lucky lang in NCR na when it entered na humina ng konti at saka lumihis ng konti. But if you could see, di ba, the weather during that time, may hangin naman.
Yeah.
Just that we were blessed na humina siya. Unfortunately, yung mga kababayan natin sa Masbate, in other provinces na dinaanan, we're not so blessed.
And yung estimate nila ng damage itong typhoon na ito, pag alis niya, ay 1 billion in agriculture.
Malaki.
And 864.1 million in infrastructure across various regions, yung mga areas that were affected by
I'd
this
like to
typhoon.
confirm lang kung if it meets the threshold na, di ba usually pag may certain amount, tapos number of casualties, tinatanggal na nila yung name sa list.
Yes.
Oo, like hindi na nila uulitin.
Yolanda, Ondoy.
Oo.
And I remember also few years ago, 'di ba? Ito din yung mga time na yung sa Ondoy, letter O, 'di ba? Typhoon Ondoy na talagang grabe din yung damage na dinulot dito sa atin.
Well, sa October, brace daw for 4 storms. So, ngayon. But then again, keep safe na lang and we always trust in Pag-asa. Huwag niyo sisisihin sila.
Yes.
Remember, their models in Pag-asa, predictive lang po yan.
Pero
there's no definite exact way of predicting how a storm will hit.
I want to go back lang dun sa interview natin last week with Governor Arve Ivardone saying na there are 6 ghost flood control projects dun sa area nila na actually na isulat na niya sa Malacanang and sa DPWH if I'm not mistaken. Antayin na lang nila yung inspection doon ni Secretary Vince Dizon.
Actually matagal na daw alam. Nag-usap na daw sila.
Supposedly parang na siya, tapos na siya dapat today, Pero ngayon daw, nung pinag-uusapan natin may mga tao daw doon sa area na yon sa mga flood control projects na ginagawa pa lang. Para nagkukumahog sila na ayusin.
Alright, the Senate's Committee on Finance is deliberating the 2026 proposed budget of the Office of the Vice President. Let's listen in.
COA is currently represented by Mr. Fahad bin Abdul Malik Tumawis. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Marimon, nag-chat ako sa'yo.
Right. Thank you, Comsec. And with that,
Ay,
we would,
Copy. Thank you.
Chairperson of the Committee on Finance of the House of the Senate of the Philippines. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Madayaw, mayong adlaw kaninyong tanan. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. The Office of the Vice President stands resolutely as a people's institution. Despite challenges, nothing has so far been insurmountable enough to take OVP off its track, derail its course, or completely incapacitate the institution and stop it from serving the interests of the people. The establishment of 10 OVP satellite offices and an extension office in Tondo, Manila has been pivotal in bringing the national government closer to underserved communities across the country with timely and significant government interventions. These offices enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of OVP services, ensuring that help reaches those who need it most. we request the Secretariat to play the AVP presentation prepared by the office. Kinsay tao na ako sa Secretary.
Behind every milestone are the stories of countless Filipinos whose lives have been touched by the Office of the Vice President. We are committed to bringing tangible change directly to those who need it most. Recognizing that peace is built on hope and opportunity, the OVP made the strategic decision to bring its Pagbabago program to Patikul Sulu, a former battleground.
Mahirap talaga noon. Karanas kami sobra. Pati yung naghanap buhay, sobra talaga ang naranasan namin. Pero iba na ngayon. Maganda na yung sitwasyon natin ngayon. Nakabalik na kami dito.
By providing students with the tools they need to succeed, the OVP empowers them with a sense of dignity, inspiring them to learn and giving them a renewed sense of hope for their education and their future. The Pagbabago campaign is a two-pronged investment in our future. We have distributed over 400,000 bags and planted close to 1 million trees across the country. Our operational excellence and financial discipline ensure every peso counts. The women of Barangay Adia received a 150,000 peso grant and generated a remarkable profit of 102,000 pesos in just 4 months. Our grants are strategically distributed to ensure maximum impact. Group enterprises receive an average grant of 150,000 pesos, while individual beneficiaries are provided with 15,000 pesos, ensuring every peso supports the right scale of enterprise.
Madami na pong mga gobyerno na nakaupo, wala pa hong nag-alok sa samahan ng mga kababaihan. Nawa po ay marami pa po kayong matulungan ng mga samahan katulad po ng aming samahan.
For many survivors of Typhoon Yolanda, a new home came with a new challenge, the daily struggle of commuting. The OVP's Libreng Sakay bus was the answer. Libreng Sakay alleviates the financial burden on working Filipinos and gives them back a sense of comfort and safety.
Ay naku, napakalaking tulong ho. Napakalaking ginawa, especially sa mga estudyante pa rin. Katulad ko, meron akong high school. Mag-high school ngayon, kasakay ng libre na.
Since 2022, the Libreng Sakay program has provided over 2.5 million free rides. This program gives a much-needed financial break to workers and students in key cities across the Philippines. The OVP launched the Janaza Kit initiative in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. This tailored support provides essential items for Islamic funeral rites. Ensuring cultural sensitivity is a cornerstone of our service, providing dignity during a time of grief.
Napakagandang inisyatibo ito ng ating BP. Ang kahalaga nito sa amin, ang mandatory po ito sa amin. Kahit walang-wala kami, dapat hanapin namin ng paraan para makabili lang kami ng ganito. Kaya kung may ganito na, ay naku, alhamdulillah, napakalaking tulong po sa amin. Kasi hindi na po kami maghihirap.
Our medical and burial assistance programs have provided a lifeline for Filipinos in their time of need. Our presence on the ground is a promise to the people, ensuring vital services are delivered directly where they are needed. The OVP's Disaster Operations Center has assisted over 369,831 families in their most vulnerable moments. We complement local response teams in mobilizing resources to save lives and rebuild communities. Our focus is on quality and impact. The You Can Be VP program mentors our future leaders. The Kalusugan food truck delivers hot meals to frontliners. And our RISE program provides food security to families in crisis. These achievements are not ours alone. We work hand in hand with government agencies, LGUs, NGOs, and the private sector, leveraging resources for a broader, more sustainable impact. Our commitment is embodied by our 10 satellite offices, strategically located across the archipelago, ensuring that Filipinos in remote areas receive timely and accessible services. The Office of the Vice President remains steadfast in its mission to serve, to uplift, and to empower every Filipino. Together, let us work towards a stronger, more resilient, and more inclusive nation.
The successful delivery of OVP service was fueled by the courage of the men and women of the office, courage to be committed public servants working to ensure that all Filipinos experience government regardless of their proximity to the capital. Our 2026 budget proposal builds on the outcomes of the previous year, addressing the significant budget reduction we faced while envisioning a path forward through fiscal discipline and strategic partnerships. I will now proceed to discuss the highlights of the 2026 proposed budget of the Office of the Vice President. Good morning, everyone. Presenting the highlights and salient features of the OVP budget under fiscal year 2026 National Expenditure Program, or the NEP. The Department of Budget and Management has recommended a budget of 902,895,000 for fiscal year 2026 vis-a-vis the 942,038,000 of the proposal of the Office of the Vice President. The amount recommended is 21.33 higher than the fiscal year 2025 budget as appropriated. The proposed budget will cover personal services or PS, maintenance and operating expenses or MOOE, and capital outlay. For the PS, the recommended budget for fiscal year 2026 is 212,538,000, which is 23.54% of the total budget. The amount is higher by 12.14% than the fiscal year 2025 PS level. Personal services cover salaries, benefits, and allowances of 162 filled positions. It also includes the special duty allowance for military and uniformed personnel and salary for non-permanent positions. The total proposed PS budget, including retirements and life insurance premiums or RLIP, is 212,538,000. For the MOOE, the recommended budget is 673,753,000, which is 74.62% of the total budget. The amount is based on the DBM Tier 1 MOOE level of 654,527,000, plus additional Tier 2 requests of 19,226,000 for the information and communication technology or ICT related expenses in line with the DICT endorsed Information Systems Strategic Plan or ISSP. The MOOE includes the allocations of the following: supplies and materials, as well as financial assistance subsidies, which are intended for goods and grants that will be directly received by the OVP target beneficiaries or clients. Travel and representation expenses to support the operational needs of the OVP in implementing its programs and projects, including its ceremonial and executive functions. And for the provisions of professional services and rent lease expenses to cover the service fees of contract of service personnel, IT-related consultancy services as per the ISSP, and the operational needs of OVP central and satellite offices. As for the capital outlay, the total budget is 1.84% of the total recommended budget, or equivalent to 16.6 million. The recommended capital outlay covers the procurement of various information and communication technology outlays consistent with the ISSP. By appropriation source, the amount under agency-specific budget is 889,236,000 and 13,695,000 under automatic appropriations for the RLIP. Of the total amount of 902,895,000 under the fiscal year 2026 National Expenditure Program, 275,183,000 or 30.5% is allotted for various goods and grants under socio-economic programs of the OVP, which will directly benefit Filipinos. This excludes the logistics and other costs which are necessary to implement the programs. This is presenting the comparative budget of the OVP from 2020 to 2025 under the GAA and 2026 under the NEP. So in 2020, the budget was 708,019,000. In 2021, the budget was 908,790,000. In 2022, the budget was 713,408,000. In 2023, the budget was 2,356,614,000. And in 2024, the budget was 1,885,462,000. In 2025, the budget was 744,146,000. And currently, for 2026, under the NEP, it's 902,895,000. So this is the chart, the graph of the comparative budget. Prior to fiscal year 2023, the OVP's budget ranged from 700 to 900 million, and it was only in fiscal year 2023 and 2024 that the budget exceeded 1 billion pesos, primarily due to increased allocations for financial assistance and subsidy to support the provision of medical and burial assistance. For fiscal year 2025, the OVP budget returned to its pre-2023 levels with 744,015,000 allocated for 2025. The same budget level is maintained under the proposed 2026 budget with adjustments for inflation, including the mandated salary increases. Since 2020, and even with higher budgets in 2023 and 2024, the OVP was able to maintain a high full-year budget utilization or obligation rate of at least 85.55% at end year. Presented is the comparison between the 2025 and 2026 budgets under GAA and under NEP. The net increase of 158,749,000 is attributable to the following: Personal services increase of 21,313,000 due to increase in number of filled positions from 149 to 162, and the corresponding standard salary increases across all items. MOOE items with a total increase of 174,521,000 is for supplies and materials expenses. This is the increase in the provision for disaster relief and the rice programs, the financial assistance and subsidies for the Magnegosyo Taday program, the professional services, provision for existing contract of service personnel, the rent and lease expenses, and there is a reduction of 28,085,000 for representation expenses to partially support the requirement for PS. For capital outlay, there is a decrease in the amount of 39,796,000 in fiscal year 2026. In fiscal year 2026, included a lower portion for ICT equipment. In addition, fiscal year 2025 included budget for purchase of 4 motor vehicles and other machinery and equipment. There is also an increase in 2.7 million in retirement and life insurance premiums, which is mandatory under the GSIS contributions. So these are the accomplishments of the Office of the Vice President. As the second highest office in the land, the OVP aims to promote the welfare of every Filipino in line with its vision to create lasting impact on the lives of every Filipino people through its socio-economic programs and services. Since 2022, the OVP has implemented the following programs: the Pagbabago, 1 million Learners and Trees campaign, the disaster response operations, relief for indigents and individuals in crisis and emergencies or RICE, You Can Be VP, Libreng Sakay, Kalusugan Food Trucks and Pansarap, Magnegosyo Taday, and the medical and burial assistance. The OVP programs are implemented in the central office and through 10 satellite offices and 1 extension office, which continue to operate in key areas in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao to provide Filipinos with immediate access to the services provided by the Office of the Vice President. In Luzon, we have the Cagayan Valley Satellite Office located in
Yeah, you just saw the Senate hearing on the proposed budget ng OVP, and that was Vice President Sara Duterte outlining accomplishments with the presentation, also outlining yung request niya for this coming for the next
for
budget.
2026. All right, we'll be back with more. Yeah, with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. Senator Ping Lacson reveals that senators of the 19th Congress inserted at least 100 billion pesos worth of items in the 2025 national budget. Lacson said the individual amendments were for later release but still unusually large, some amounting to 5 to 9 billion each. He noted this is far bigger than the pork barrel allocations before the Priority Development Assistance Fund was declared unconstitutional. He added that he has yet to review insertions made in the House of Representatives. While insertions are not necessarily illegal, Lacson stressed the need to scrutinize how much of these funds are released and implemented.
The Justice Department continues review of Sarah and Curly Discaya to determine eligibility for Witness Protection Program. Here's the report.
Contractors Curly and Sara Discaya returned to the Justice Department on Saturday. The couple's appearance is part of the ongoing review of their status in the Witness Protection Program. When asked how she was doing, Sara did not give a verbal response. Instead, she made this finger heart gesture. Curly, meanwhile, showed up wearing a bulletproof vest and carrying a paper bag. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla stressed that Curly must back up his sworn statement with solid evidence.
Remember, this is probably the biggest scam the biggest corruption issue. Kaya nga I want notes. I want ledgers. I want to be able to buttress yung testimonies given with other documents besides their affidavit.
Curly's ledger was first raised at a Senate hearing. It supposedly contains the names of government officials and lawmakers who received kickbacks from projects he handled. The DOJ has also released names recommended by the NBI for case build-up over anomalous flood control projects. Among those named, Ako Bicol Representative Zaldico, Senators Chis Escudero, Joel Villanueva, Jinggoy Estrada, and former Senator Bong Revilla, along with several government officials and private individuals. Remulla noted more names may still surface as investigators vet the Discaya statements.
And it's going to be congressmen who will be part of you, will be the subject of many of these actions.
Kasama po ba dyan si Rep. Arjo Atayde?
Basta lahat ng binanggit niya, not just one, it's everybody mentioned, will be subject to investigation.
Remulla also plans to meet with Senator Rodante Marcoleta regarding his surprise witness, Orly Regala Gutesa, who allegedly delivered suitcases of cash to the homes of Representatives Martin Romualdez and Zaldico. The Justice Secretary earlier confirmed that Gutesa also wants protection under the Witness Protection Program. But Gutesa was a no-show at the DOJ on Friday, where he was expected to explain his testimony. For News 5, Gio Robles, we are One News.
Now, for more updates over at the Senate, we have mobile journalist Merimon Reyes. Hi, Merimon. Ano na ba yung mga na-discuss? Kasi naiwan namin yung hearing ng proposed budget for OVP ay nagsasalita si Vice President Sara Duterte. May alam ka ba kung gagawin din nila yung parliamentary courtesy na instead na i-grill si VP Sara ay i-approve na yung requested na budget niya?
Oo, Angelo, nung sa House kasi parang nasa loob ng isang oras na aprubahan agad yung ng House yung proposed 2026 budget ng OVP, pero may kaunting pagka-question lang mula sa ilang kongresista. Pero so far kasi dito, ang nasabi ni VP Sara so far, yung kanilang 902.895 million pesos na proposed OVP budget, nagpara raw ito sa kanilang mga programa. Same goes din na para doon sa mga posisyon sa opisina na kailangan din daw punan dahil parang nagkaroon ng dagdag na manpower sa OVP. So far, ang mga nakaupo kasi ng mga senador, sina Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, Committee Finance Chair, Senator Amy Marcos, Senator Robin Padilla, Senator Loren Legarda, and Senator Bato de la Rosa. So, titignan natin kung magkakaroon din ba ng mabilis o magbibigay din ng parliamentary courtesy itong komite. Pero ang so far nakukumpirma sa atin, pagkatapos ito, hahabulin natin si VP Sara dahil magpapaunlak daw siya ng press briefing kasama ang mga media.
So parang Merimon, yung mga nabanggit mo mga senators dyan, moron sa Duterte block.
Oo, pero so far kasi sabay-sabay din ang mga pagdinig dito. For example, nandito sina Senator Mig Zubiri, may pagdinig dito. Meron din ditong hearing tungkol nga din doon sa prime water. So sabay-sabay sila. Kasabay din yan, meron din kasing so far nasabi si Senate President Tito Soto na 10 a.m. may caucus din ang majority and then by 12 o'clock noon, magkakaroon naman din ng caucus lahat ng mga senador. So possible na makaapekto yun sa partisipasyon ng ilang mga senador. Kaya naabangan din natin kung pupunta o hahabol dito sina Senadora Risa Ontiveros, possibly Senator Marcoleta, and others na maaaring bumaba dito sa floor na to kung saan ginagawa ang mga hearing.
Simple caucus lang ba ito, Merimon, or may pag-uusapan sila?
Angelo, ang nasabi so far sa atin ni SP Soto, yung ilan daw sa mga pag-uusapan maaari yung schedule ng Blue Ribbon Committee hearing, kung ano na bang schedule nito, ilan pa ba o ano pa ba ang kailangan nilang talakayin. Nasabi rin kasi ni Senator Kiko Pangilinan last week nung huling pagdinig, pag-uusapan din nila yung mga ipapatawag pa raw nila na resource person para sa pagdinig ng Blue Ribbon bago sila tuluyang matapos yung pagdidinig ng Blue Ribbon. At gagawin na lang daw nila BRC meetings na lang, hindi na raw public hearings. So yun, maging other, hindi na kasi sa atin na masyadong dinivulge kung anong other concern yung pag-uusapan nila, pero maaaring lumabas ang mga yan mamaya rin sa plenaryo.
Would you know, Merimon, kung matutuloy yung sinasabi na meeting between the Senate at saka House of Representatives na nabanggit before din ni Senator Ping Lacson para nga i-discuss daw itong mga budget insertions?
Angela, yan yung inaabangan din natin sa ngayon kasi isa rin yan sa mga pag-uusapan. Ang nasabi rin kasi kanina ni SP Soto sa isang mensahe dito sa mga media, tinitingnan din nilang issue ngayon is yung paglilinaw raw sa budget insertions na nangyayari raw sa Senado, sa House at saka sa BICAM. At tulad niyan, sinabi ni SP Soto, nagko-concur din siya sa opinion ni Senator Sherwin na dapat daw tanggalin ng unprogrammed funds para mas maging black and white yung mga proyekto at paglalaanan ng pondo. So isa yan sa maaaring makakuha tayo ng impormasyon mamaya tungkol sa caucus kasi dalawang caucus nga, majority, Senate majority, tapos lahat daw ng mga senador may caucus din ngayong tanghali. So maaaring isa yan sa mga mapag-uusapan.
Meron lastly, hindi ko kasi naabutan going back doon kay Vice President Sara Duterte sa kanyang proposed sa 2026 budget. Hindi ko naabutan kung magkano hinihingi niya doon sa Operation Satellite Extension Offices. Kasi I remember, the reason why I asked this, isa sa mga, alam mo yun, na itanong sa kanya before, doon sa kanyang budget, kasama ng confidential fund niya, yung mataas, no, na budget doon sa mga satellite offices niya. Isa yan sa kino-question sa kanya.
Angela, so far, yung huli kasi nating na-monitor, ang nasabi pa lang ni VP Sara ay tungkol doon sa programa ng OVP na ipagpapatuloy nila. Kasama na rin dyan yung mga subsidies sa ilang mga beneficiaries, yung kanilang mga initiative programs daw na kanilang ipagpapatuloy pa rin ngayong taon. And so far, ang sinabi din naman ni last time ni OVP spokesperson Ruth Castelo, ready naman daw ang opisina ni VP Sara kung sakaling magkakaroon pa ng trimming doon sa kanilang budget na 902.8 million pesos. Pero so far kasi tuloy-tuloy pa naman itong pagpapaliwanag ni VP Sara at iniisa-isa niya pa lang itong pagkakahati-hati ng kanilang panukalang pondo for 2026.
Alright, sige.
Alright, thank you, mobile journalist Merimon Reyes, for that report.
Now, Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong has resigned as special advisor to the Independent Commission for Infrastructure, citing concerns over conflicting statements from Malacanang. Here's the report.
Less than 2 weeks after being appointed, Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong has resigned as special advisor of the Independent Commission for Infrastructure, or ICI. In his letter to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Magalong said Malacanang's statements contradicted the conditions of his appointment. He stressed these remarks undermined the mandate entrusted to him, casting doubt on the Commission's true independence. Because of this, he said he could no longer serve in the position. Still, Magalong clarified he has never abandoned and will never abandon his primary responsibility as mayor of Baguio City. His resignation as special advisor takes effect immediately. In a separate statement, Magalong admitted the decision was difficult but necessary. He emphasized that there was no conflict of interest between his mayoral duties and his role at the ICI. Malacanang, meanwhile, expressed regret over Magalong's resignation. The Presidential Communications Office said the Filipino people's demand from the Commission outweighs the role of any single individual. Just a day before Magalong stepped down, The palace had said it would review his ICI role, citing concerns over 110 million pesos tennis court project in Baguio City. The contract was awarded in 2022 to St. Gerard Construction, owned by the Descaya family. Magalong earlier clarified the project was completed in compliance with the law. At a Baguio City event, Magalong also apologized to his constituent, saying his anti-corruption work had taken much of his time.
And I would like to apologize to each and every one of you if I cannot perform my task as your mayor of the city of Baguio. It's not an easy task, believe me. It's very challenging and it is very dangerous as well.
I remember asking Yuse Claire Castro during our special coverage last Sunday nung sa protesta nung September 21. Sabi ko, kasi ang sinabi ni Presidente Bongbong Marcos, walang politiko, pero bakit niya inappoint pa rin itong si Benjamin Magalong when in fact, sabi nga niya, hindi, special advisor lang naman. Pero, di ba, after few weeks, biglang iniimbestigahan, kumbaga parang they're looking at the possible conflict of interest of appointing him. So,
malaki kasi ang role ng special advisor. His role is to gather evidence and then to be presented for scrutiny ng yung three panel member board, no? Ang problema diyan, politiko kasi siya, tulad ng sinasabi mo. And aside from that, ang reliant ng decision-making powers ng ICI will come from the advisor. So kahit sabihin mo nang hindi siya ang magdidesisyon, pero kung yung evidence na pinipresenta, karamihan ay nanggagaling sa kanya and recommendations,
parang parte pa rin talaga siya.
Sasabihin ng marami,
Malaki
even though we know impeccable naman ang record ni Mayor Magalong, sabihin nila, ano siya, he belongs to a political faction and he is also a mayor of a certain town. So, how do we know na isasama niya lahat, pati yung area of concern niya? So, yun lang. We're not saying na he's part of all of these things. We're just saying,
yun yung isa sa mga consideration that we are looking at, bakit nagkakaroon ng conflict of interest. But of course, a lot of people are parang on the other side of the fence na dismayed because they really trust Magalong because alam na nga natin yung record niya pagdating sa mga pag-iimbestiga. Dahil even si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos has said na investigador to diba? From SAF and etc. So kaya a lot of people nag-react dahil dun sa kanyang pagkaka-resign.
well, two names lumalabas ngayon as replacement. Of course, Vico Soto, but I doubt that Mayor
Kasi
Vico,
another mayor na
another
naman.
Mayor, and si General, former PNP Chief Torre. I've seen yung mga possible candidates na lumalabas.
Kaya lang kasi si General Torre, hindi pa siya retired as as general, as police, diba? So,
No, I'm just saying, yun ang float.
Anyway, all right, Senator Bongo is calling on all Filipinos to pray for former President Rodrigo Duterte's safety, health, and freedom while in detention at The Hague. Go stressed that Duterte, who dedicated his life and service to the nation, deserves the same compassion and concern from the Filipino people. This comes after a report that the former president had fallen inside his cell and was evacuated to a hospital to be checked for cranial and brain injury. Vice President Sara Duterte, meanwhile, has denounced his continued detention as unjust and inhumane.
Sana po'y gumaling po si Tatay Digong. Ipagdasal po natin ang kanyang pagaling sa lalong madaling panahon. Kung nandirito lang sana siya sa Pilipinas, masasamahan ko siyang magpa-hospital. Masasamahan ko po siya magpa-check up kahit anong oras po, gaya ng ginagawa ko for the past 26 years. Ako po'y nalulungkot at nababahala sa sitwasyon niya ngayon na mag-isa po at matanda na po si Tatay Digong. Marami na po siyang karamdaman sa kanyang edad na 80 anyos. Napakahirap po ng sitwasyon ni Tatay Digong. Bilang 80 years old po, marami na po siyang sakit.
Well, sweldo mo daw. Sinisweldohan ka para maging senador, hindi para maging caregiver. Madami nagsasabi, hindi ako yun. Baka magalit na naman kayo sa akin. Don't go away because we're not done yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. Now let's get more updates from the House of Representatives. We have mobile journalist Amy Atienza. Amy, what's the latest over there?
Yes, good morning, Angela, Diego. Well, supposedly, ngayong umaga, inaabangan natin yung magiging budget plenary debate patungkol nga dito sa budget ng Department of Public Works and Highways. Pero so far kasi hindi pa daw tayo nakakita ng representative. So inuna muna natin pakinggan yung budget naman ng Department of Trade and Industry na papatak nga sa 12.63 billion pesos. At kanina natanong na rin sila kung ano nga ba yung gagawin nila dito, and syempre, isa sa mga priority nila is iwasan nga itong mga scams na nangyayari, syempre lalo na sa e-commerce. At bukod pa nga dyan, plano na rin daw kasi ng ahensya na makapag-generate nga ng more job opportunities para naman doon sa mga MSMEs na meron tayo dito sa bansa. Well, dito sa House of Representatives, Angela, Diego, inaabangan pa rin natin yung ilan sa mga big events na inaasahan nga natin. Isa na nga dyan yung nasabi ko kanina na budget ng DPWH. Pero bukod pa dyan, inaabangan din natin kung magpapakita na nga ba dito si Representative Zaldico dahil kung naalala natin, over the weekend, nagpadala na nga ng sulat si House Speaker Boji III kay Representative Ko na sinasabi na by September 29, which is today, ay sana magpakita na at magbigay na nga ng kanyang statement o kaya magbigay na ng kanyang presensya dito sa Kamara si Representative Zaldico. So inaabangan pa natin kung magpapakita siya later on today. Pero so far, wala pa tayong nakikita kung nandito nga ba siya sa Kamara. Angela, Diego?
Amy, may pinag-uusapan na ba dyan na direksyon para sa possible suspension? Kasi like we talked about last week, kailangan you have the number of, I think, 3 suspensions bago ka ma-expel. So are they talking about possible suspensions for the Congressman Zaldico?
Yes, kung maalala natin, Diego, nag-file na rin kasi ng ethics complaint itong si Representative Toby Chanco against Representative Zaldico dahil nga hindi na siya nagpapakita dito sa Kamara. At syempre, isa nga sa mga rason dyan ay nalalabag daw yung Constitution, and bukod pa dyan, hindi na nga daw natutugunan yung kanyang role sa public office. So titingnan din natin, abangan natin na magiging usapin naman sa Ethics and Privileges Committee kung magtutuloy-tuloy nga ito at kung possible nga na mabigyan ng suspension ikaw sa Representative Zaldico bago siya mapunta dun sa sinasabing expulsion dahil nga tulad na nasabi mo, 3 suspensions muna kinakailangan bago tuluyang mabitawan yung pwesto bilang kongresista dito sa Kamara, Diego.
Amy, speaking of ethics complaint, si Congressman Barzaga, sabi niya magpa-file daw siya ng ethics complaint kay kay Congressman Ronnie Puno. May mangyayari bang ganon?
Yes, nagkaroon kami ng ambush interview ng House Media. Kasama naman itong si Representative Kiko Barzaga at sinabi niya rin naman na kinakailangan niya or gusto niyang mag-file ng ethics complaint nga against Representative Puno. Ang dahilan daw dito ay dahil sinasabi na mentally daw unwell siya, pero sinasabi niya rin at depensa niya na hindi naman daw siya kasi mentally unwell. So tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung magiging usapin dyan, lalo na dahil nagka-intervention din nung nanay niya, nanay ni Representative Kiko Barzaga, na sinabi nga dito sa House of Representatives na wag muna bigyan masyado ng responsibilities dahil hindi pa nga daw okay. So titingnan natin, mag-aabang din tayo sa development sa mangyayari dyan. Pero siguro by this week, baka mag-file na nga rin itong si Representative Kiko Barzaga patungkol dyan, Diego.
Amy, itong short-lived na Infracom na nagtapos ng kanilang pag-hearing ay alam mo ba kung naipasa na nila, na-endorse na nila yung mga documents sa ICI na nag-gather nila during their hearings?
Yes, actually, Angela, nung nagsimula nga itong ICI, ay napumunta na rin si House Speaker Boji III para nga daw maipasa yung mga transcripts at saka yung pieces of evidence na nakuha nila dito sa Infracom hearings. So kabilang na nga dyan yung mga na-discover nila na Discaya-linked firms, pati na rin yung mga kita ng iba pang mga contractors na nabanggit nga ni President Bongbong Marcos nung SONA niya. So tuloy-tuloy din naman daw ang kanilang naging proseso dito. Inaabangan pa natin kung ano nga ba yung masasabi din ni House Speaker Boji D tungkol din sa naging pag-uusap nila sa ICI. Pero sigurado na yan na naipasa na yung transcript pati nga pieces of evidence ng Infracom hearings sa ICI para nga maipagpatuloy na rin ng ICI ang kanilang proseso patungkol nga dito sa mga flood control projects.
Maraming salamat, mobile journalist Amy Atienza. Now, former Brazilian volleyball player, now Senator Leila Barros, says corruption is not just a problem in the Philippines, but one Brazil continues to struggle with as well. Speaking at a media conference, Barrios, now a member of the Federal Senate, stressed the need to hold leaders accountable and ensure stolen funds are returned to the people. She is back in Manila after 21 years, joining the 2025 FIVB Men's World Championship as guest of honor. She called the visit the right time to celebrate the rise of Filipino volleyball and the country's historic hosting of the prestigious tournament. Barrios first captured the hearts of Filipino fans during the 2000 FIVB World Grand Prix. Meantime, Italy has cemented its volleyball dynasty, repeating as FIVB Men's World Champion after defeating Bulgaria in 4 sets at the Mall of Asia Arena. It is Italy's second straight world crown after winning in Poland in 2022 and their 5th overall title.
For Filipinos dreaming of studying in the United States, opportunities are closer than ever as Education USA holds its 10th University Fair in the Philippines. Mobile journalist Fatima Baduria has the report.
Sa mga nangangarap sumakabilang bansa para mag-aral, may University Fair sa Pilipinas ang Education USA para dyan. Education USA has launched its 10th University Fair in the Philippines, bringing opportunities closer to Filipinos. The event brought together colleges and universities from the U.S., along with testing centers to help out aspiring students.
I'd encourage students to focus, it's not just on grades, it's on their will, it's on also the extracurricular activities, a focus on essay writing.
Basketball player and U.S. sports envoy Taj McWilliams Franklin also encouraged Filipinos to join sports program offerings.
Everyone is from different cultures, different backgrounds, and we play a team sport.
According to the U.S. Embassy, around 4,000 Filipinos are currently studying across the U.S. With the program, Education USA aims to further internationalize Philippine higher education.
In the Philippines, there's still no such thing as medical malpractice lawyer. That is also my advocacy.
We all know naman po na mas may opportunity sa other country, kaya sinubukan na rin po namin mag-explore dito sa iba't ibang university.
Funding is one of the main concerns for Filipinos dreaming of studying in the U.S., but scholarship programs are available for them.
Make sure you have a good research proposal, especially if you plan on taking your master's or doctorate studies. They have to have a good GPA. A lot of scholarship are merit-based.
The U.S. colleges and universities present in the fair are offering a wide range of programs in different disciplines, catering to the varying interests of Filipino students. Mobile journalist Fatima Baduria, we are One News.
Pag-usapan lang natin mabilis yung sa ICI, nakalimutan ko banggitin kanina. No? Of course, people are asking kung ite-televise ba tong hearing nila. Of course, the investigation is ongoing na. Pero yun nga sinabi ng kanilang spokesperson, hindi. Pero of course, people are saying, oo, dapat transparent tayo sa mga ginagawa natin because at this point in time, di ba, ang nakikita ng mga tao, ang craving nila is for transparency. That equates accountability.
Well, so far I agree na let's keep it quiet muna. Because to eliminate them or shield them from pressure. Kasi pag may daily public pressure sa dyaryo, sa social media, baka yung decision making
kasi
nila.
at this point in time, yung mga tao, di ba, punong-puno na ng duda eh.
Hindi, pero ang problema look at Congress and the Senate. All of them are exposed to media, so yung decision making nila is based on what's popular. Look what happens sa impeachment case, di ba, namatay. Yun. So let's see how it goes, but I'd like to leave everyone with a quote. Every sunrise is proof that fresh beginnings are possible. And that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro.
I'm Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.